Hello and good afternoon here at Ashington Cricket Club, and you're listening to broadcast running commentary of the match between Ashington and Tynedale. Ashington batting first, 59 for 2, and this will be the 18th over at the moment. 59 for 2 Ashington, and it's Jessup on strike against Tom Cant. And there's a forward shot, just came forward there to Jessup and pushed it back down the pitch, and Cant picks it up. We're broadcasting here down behind the long off boundary. Sam Peters just down in front of us, in front of the terrace here, and as Cant goes in again now to Jessup. A full ball, and it's driven back down the pitch, and he picks it up, does Cant, out to his right hand side that time, so no run. Jessup 31 not out. And here's Cant again now. One slip in place, and a gully, and a point. It's full again, just slightly veering the leg from Cant there, and Jessup plays it up out to the right hand side where it's Ollie Fletcher playing today in place of he's back in from the seconds last week anyway. He picks that one up and puts it in to the wicketkeeper, and that's the end of the over. It's 60 for 2 Ashington at the end of that one. And they started briskly indeed. It was Daniel Grant and Jessup who got away. They got the score to 36, and then Sam Peter, who had otherwise bowled a bit short and a bit wide, and Grant had dealt with him. He got the wicket, got Grant edging through to Crichton, the wicketkeeper, and that was at 36. And that was the first wicket. He got that wicket, did Sam Peter. And it was Tom Cant after that who got the next wicket. But here's Josh Renton to take up the attack now. Bowling to Jessup again. He's up this end, and it goes through to the wicketkeeper. Lets that one go outside the off stump, and there's no run. Yeah, so it was the change of pace. 36 from the first 8 overs, and then just 23 added in the next 10 for Ashington at the pace they're going. But here's Jessup on strike to Renton. No slips in place, but there's a gully, and that's a good length ball there from Renton. Jammed Jessup on the crease, but he's equal to it. Just plays out there in front of point, and it's Dag who picks up there in the covers, and there's no run. So the field for Renton here, we've got a gully, we've got a point, we've got a cover, an extra cover, a mid off, a mid on, a close mid wicket there, that's Cant. Sam Peter down here in front of us at fine leg, and a deep mid wicket as well on the roadside to our left. There's Renton bowling to Jessup, who just goes forward, and that bounced from a good length, and he just plays it down into the ground, and it rolls up there to Callum McCabe, who picks up in the short sleeves and throws the ball around that offside field. And it's Mannion now with it. He gives it a good polish on his left thigh before he's about to throw it back. Pops a little catch up to Josh Renton down there. So here's Renton now in his second over. Here's the fourth change, second change came on for Callum McCabe, and that one's full, and it's driven back down the pitch. A no ball called there from umpire Wilburn down at the far end. So one more to the total, 61 for 2. And Renton it is. He often throws in a no ball in these matches, but here he comes again now. In towards us here, bowling to Jessup with his close, tight-knit stance. Bowls short, and that's whipped away, a punch through the leg side up towards the right hand of Fletcher there at deep mid-on. He picks it up now on the second attempt and throws into the bowler's end, which is the far end, and they go through for 2 runs to the batsman there. 2 more to Jessup. He's gone to 34, and the score goes to 63 for 2 Ashington in the 19th over. 63 for 2 wickets as Renton turns again now to Jessup. Renton bowling. Bowls, and that's just short of a good length, and it gets up again, and it forces Jessup to defend it out there. Forward to Dag at cover point, and he picks up and throws it back round to McCabe, who throws it to Sam Mannion down there, and there's no run. Still 63 for 2, and we've got plenty of people out in front of us on the terrace, and thank you to the very nice people here at Ashington Cricket Club as usual for letting us use this part of the clubhouse is Renton bowls, and there's a good ball, played a miss from Jessup outside the off stump, went half forward there and reacted a little slowly, and he missed through to Crichton, the wicketkeeper, and there's no run. So that's the end of the 19th over, 63 for 2, Jessup 34, and Ben O'Brien, it is the other batsman. I don't think we've mentioned him yet, but he's out there, but he's yet to score, and he's been out there since the 14th over, after the dismissal of Jack McCarthy. He was LBW to Tom Cant, and it was the change of pace what has slowed the runs up here for Ashington after that brisk start, and Cant got himself a wicket, LBW. That was McCarthy, but it's O'Brien on strike now, the right-hander from Cant. Has a good length ball, and he just plays forward out square to Ewan Stevenson there at cover point, just to our left, slightly to our left there, up at the top end, at the terrace of houses at the far end of the ground, running behind the hedgerows up there. But Cant bowls again, and there's O'Brien this time in his shirt sleeves, just defensively comes forward and pushes it back down, and the ball actually comes to a stop there before Cant gets forward and picks it up, and there's no run. So for O'Brien, we've got a slip in there, that's Paul Newton. We've got a deep gully, that's McCabe there, Stevenson at point. There's Cant in again now to O'Brien, who comes forward and lightly drives that one out to Fletcher there at deep mid-on. No run. Cant quickly back to the end of his mark. Shirt sleeves on today, looks like he's had a haircut in midweek. And he's about to turn the ball again. In he goes away from us here, into O'Brien. Bowls on the leg stump, and that's turned round the corner, just behind square, up to Dag there, who runs in from deep square leg from the trees on the boundary there, picks up and throws into Crichton, and O'Brien goes through for a single, and that's him off the mark now. He's got a start, and the score goes to 64 for 2 wickets in the 20th. Here's Cant again now, bowling to Jessup this time. Jessup goes forward, then back, and turns around the corner off leg stump there, middle and leg, round to Dag again. Not as far as O'Brien before, but he does get a single, forced Dag to run in a bit further there, and he quickly makes his way back. So same field of Fletcher's coming up off the long on boundary inside the circle now, as Cant the bowl to O'Brien again, who defends onto the leg side. Straight, just off the straight there, Cant picks it up, and that's the end of the over. No run off the last ball there. 65 for 2 now Ashington, Jessup 35 and O'Brien 1. The men out are Daniel Grant and Jack McCarthy. Sam Peter and Tom Cant have taken the wickets, and the wickets fell at 36 and 49 so far on what is a lovely day here at Ashington. Slight covering a cloud, but the cloud's high. It's warm out there, slight breeze going about the ground, rustling through the trees away across to our right, around the west side of the ground here at Langwell Crescent. And it's Josh Renton against Jessup. Now, start of the new over, and Jessup just defends this one again into the leg side to the left, where we're broadcasting from here, down on the fine leg boundary. And it's picked up, and there was no run there, and it's still 65 for 2. Fletcher just pops up a little catch to Renton now. He's at deep mid on, Mannion at deep mid off, Peter here at fine leg, a gully in place now, a short extra cover, and that's pushed back down the pitch, this time from Jessup. Good length there, just over a good length, but Jessup was taking no chances with it there. He hit it safely enough back along the ground, and Renton picked it up on the bounce and threw the ball to Mannion, who gives it another good polish on his left thigh there. So it's the first time in 7 weeks in the league Renton has bowled. Renton again now to Jessup, and this is just pushed again off middle and leg stump by Jessup to Cant there, who's close in at mid-wicket, straight mid-wicket that is. We've got a gully, we've got a deepish point there, quite near to the edge of the circle, Ewan Stevenson. Dag is at cover, or cover point. McCabe there, who is deep at the moment, but he'll come in quite close as he walks in. Renton again now against Jessup. Full, and it's driven, classic off drive there, going off the front foot, and he drives it up, and the ball races up to the boundary there. Under the trees it goes. So a good shot there from Jessup, over pitched from Renton, and he goes to 39. And the score goes to 69 for 2 in the 21st over. So we started on time here this afternoon, here on Spreaker Internet Radio on the Cricket West Time programme. And maximum 50 overs per innings here this afternoon at Ashington. But here's Renton again now. And he comes towards us, bowling to Jessup, who defends this one down into the offside from a good length. And again, Renton extracts a little bit more bounce than his last couple of balls there, and that. But Jessup was right on top of it, and the ball hit the ground not more than a yard from him, and it rolled out to William Dagg there. Now a change in the field. Dagg is dropping out there to deep cover. About 8 or 9 yards in from the boundary across to the right. But here's Renton again against Jessup. That's short and outside the off stump, and there's going to be a bye here, I think. Yes, it's picked up now by Peter, and umpire Wilburn down at that far end signals up to the scorers, who are in the box at the right at the other end of the clubhouse here at Langwell Crescent. And that was the end of the over, end of the 21st. It's 60, I think it'll go to 70 for 2 now with that bye. We'll see as the score clocks up. But it's Tom Cant on to strike now, on to bowl. He's got 1 wicket to his name, and he'll be bowling to Jessup. And here he is now. 1 slip in place, and that's short, and it's pulled up towards the boundary at the straight mid-wicket boundary to the right there, and Cant won't be pleased with himself with that one. Just has a little wipe of the sweat off his brow there before he gets back to the end of his mark. And he was onto that one quickly, Jessup, and pulled it from outside off, and it went over mid-wicket and away up to the fence there. And we've got one of the Tynedale players now down on his hands and knees trying to get under the fence over there to find that one. It did hit the deck hard and braid on, and now it's William Dagg there, who was mole-like creeping under the fence, but he's got it back now, the ball, so just waiting for it to be thrown in. There's Mannion, who gives it another clean as he throws it back to Cant now. So everybody's back in position. We've got the spectators sat here in front of us. Those at the far end, to the left of the sight screen, are sitting nicely on their summer chairs up there. But here's Cant, who bowls a bit quicker this time, and that's played for 1, and it's Ewan Stevenson who stops it with his foot there, coming round to his right towards us here from point. And they get a single. And that takes Jessup to 44, 74 for 2 in the 22nd. Cant again now to O'Brien this time, and it's full, and it's driven down the ground in between Cant and the stumps, very straight, and it's Fletcher who comes across from long on to field that one and throw in, and they get a single, another 1 to the total. So 75, O'Brien goes to 2. Change in the field here. Out comes Slip Newton. He's going into close mid-wicket there. It's Mannion who's going down to deep mid-wicket. Got a deep square leg, a long off, a long on, and a deep cover in place for Cant, who bowls. And there's a good ball, playing a miss, coming forward there from Jessup. Pitched that one just right, and it drew Jessup forward, and it bounced just about shoulder height of the bat through to Crichton, who took it cleanly, and he's standing up behind the stumps there. But Cant has the ball back again now, 75 for 2. Against Jessup, who comes forward again, and that one bounces off leg stump and on a good length, and it came above his pad there and hit him somewhere about the left, his left hip there, and bounced down. Cant was just about to appeal, but thought better of it before he gets back to his mark to bowl again. He has into Jessup now again. That's Fuller, and this is turned not very far to the leg side, straight down to long on there, and it's Fletcher who fields and throws in. and that takes the score to 76 at the end of the 22nd over. 76 for 2 wickets Ashington. Jessup is 45 and O'Brien is 2 not out. And we'll be back. We'll have a little break. I'll just break off there to hear from one of our sponsors, and it's coming now. Back in a minute.
Hello and welcome to the Cricket West Ham programme on Spreaker Online Radio, brought to you by Experts in Business, on number 1 in business consultancy. For all your business needs, visit www.expertsinbusiness.co.uk or find them on social media.
Josh went to take up the attack, and there's a drop there in the covers, is there? And I think it was, or it may have been a bump ball. I think it was a drop though, a drive there from Jessup, and it's McCabe there at extra cover. And it just slipped, it was about knee height, and it just slipped to his hands. So, I may be going a bit far with that one, but it certainly looked like a catch from here. But here's Renton again to bowl to Jessup. He bowls outside the off stump, and he lets this one through to Crichton, the wicketkeeper, and there's no run. And he seemed to miscue that drive there, Jessup. He went forward, it was a good length, and he drove, and it seemed to hit high up on the bat. But it went down, so still 76 for 2 Washington. Now here's Renton again now. Jessup this time just pushes it down and square on the offside, and it's fielded there by Ewan Stevenson, who comes in a few paces from backward point there. He's very deep as well, nearly on the edge of the circle. And here's Renton again. He's just at the end of his run now. He's bowling now again to Jessup. Jessup lets this one outside the off stump, and it's through to the wicketkeeper Crichton, and there's no run. Safe enough there. Yes, Renton's last figures in the league, 4 for 37, way back in April, the last game in April against Wrighton. 4 for 37. He's taken a few in the cup matches though. Here he comes again now, bowling to Jessup, and there's tried to turn that the leg, and it's taken an edge, and it's through past the right hand of Gully there, up towards the third man boundary, and a brilliant stop there from Ewan Stevenson. He flung all 6 foot and more of them towards the ball, and he caught that one just millimetres from the boundary down at third man. And he flicked it back for Newton to throw in, and they do, so it's gone to 79 for 2 there. And Jessup has gone to 48. O'Brien on strike, 2 not out, the right-hander. Here he is facing up to Renton now, and that one's got him squared up a bit, playing forward. And it goes through past the edge, he playing a miss through to Crichton, and there's no run. So Ewan Stevenson, he made a little hiccup in the field before, but he's recovered himself now with that long galloping chase after that one down to the third man boundary, and he flung himself at it, and he got hold of it, flicked it back to Newton, and they saved a certain 4 runs there. But Tynedale, who is about to take up the attack again. Here on Spreaker Internet Radio on the Cricket West Time programme, coming live from Ashington Cricket Club this afternoon. Cant bowling to Jessup now, away from us, and he's well back in his crease there, Jessup, and he plays this one down to the long on, towards long on, where Ollie Fletcher runs in and meets it halfway, just on the edge of the 30-yard circle there. And Jessup's gone to 49, and the score goes to 81 for 2 in the 24th. And here's Cant again now. Bowls, and there's O'Brien, who just hits it straight down the ground and slightly to the leg side again, to our right here, and Fletcher picks it up from 10-15 yards inside the boundary there at long on. And there's another single, so O'Brien goes to 3, the score goes to 82 for 2. So we've got long off for long on, a deep mid wicket, a deep backward square leg, and a deep cover. So it's 5 out and 4 in for Cant. and 3 of those are on the offside. That one's just played square from Jessup to Stevenson there at point, and there's no run. Cant marches back towards the end of his run now. Turns now, and he's going to bowl to Jessup again. 49 not out. Jessup's back in his crease, and are they going to run this one? No. Another hit towards mid-on, but Cant fields it quickly there, so he'll have to wait another ball here. Will Jessup for his 50 maybe. And we've got a fly keeping us company here inside our little cubby box at the left-hand side of the clubhouse here at Ashington this afternoon. It's buzzing about. Well, it's walking up the window at the minute, but Cant to Jessup. He's forward and he's going to get 50. There's a nice shot down to Fletcher again. They're going to get 2 here. Fletcher fires in and Crichton gets it. And he's gone to 51 now, has Jessup. And he's made that in 1 hour and 20 minutes. His 51. And he really did have to stabilise the innings. He got off to a good start with Grant, then 2 quick wickets, and now Cant is about to bowl again. Here he goes, 84 for 2, Ashington. Forward driving this time, Jessup, and the ball runs up here to Sam Peter, it is, down in front of us, about 10 yards away on the long off boundary, who throws in, and that's the end of the over. It's 85 for 2, Ashington, after 24. Jessup 52, O'Brien 3. And it will be Josh Renton to take up the attack again. I thought it was going to be McCabe again there. He's got the ball, but he's walking away giving it a polish. So it's going to be Josh Renton who takes up the attack. So before the start of today's game, these 2 teams, 3rd and 4th in Division 1 of the Northumberland and Tyneside the Northumberland and Tyneside Cricket League. Ashington 178 points, Tynedale 176, as Renton takes up the attack and bowls outside the off stump, and it's just left alone through to the wicketkeeper that time, and there's no run. So this game, whoever gets on top today will move up a place in the table. Well, if Tynedale do, they'll move up a place, but Ashington looking to strengthen their position at 3rd after last week's, by all accounts, dramatic draw, a timed out match at Shotley Bridge. But here's Renton again now. He's bowling to Jessup, who forward driving on the up that time, and that's a good stop there from Dag, just tumbling down there at extra cover. Well, he was more or less in the orthodox cover position, but he's very deep there. He maybe looked a bit wider than he was, but he's just sorted himself out now, and the ball makes its way back to Renton. So Jessup on strike, 52 not out. Here's Renton again now. Up he comes, bowls, and that one's turned to square through square leg, past umpire Tomlinson there, and it's Dan Parker who races in and picks up now and throws in to Crichton, the wicketkeeper, from the deep square boundary. Tom Cant was also after it there, but he didn't get hold of that one at the moment. He's in there at short mid-wicket. Now Parker's back at deep square leg. So we've just got 1 out now. 2 out. Sam Peter down here at fine leg. So 2 out and 7 inside the circle for Tynedale. In comes Renton again now and bowls to O'Brien this time. And O'Brien lets this one through to the wicketkeeper, and there's no run. Still a perfect still afternoon. I think the breeze may have just dropped a little bit here at Langwell Crescent. There's not much activity going on in the terrace of houses over there. Haven't seen many young'uns here either, youngsters knocking about, but maybe they're all sitting watching the cricket. But here's Josh Renton now against O'Brien, and that's full, and it's hit straight back down the ground, but not hit hard, and it just runs to the offside of the stumps there, and it's Mannion who picks up in the field there at deep mid-off. No run, 86 for 2. And Mannion gives the ball back to Josh Renton. So Ashington 1-5, lost one, had one cancelled, one abandoned and one draw. Renton against O'Brien. Full on the stumps, and O'Brien just defends this one back down the pitch, and Renton picks it up, and that's the end of the over. And we've just come to a drinks break now after 25. And the plastic glasses have gone flying there, but here comes the drinks onto the field, so a chance for us to take a quick breather. I'll break off there and we'll be back in just a minute. Here's a word with another one of our sponsors.
You are listening to live cricket here on Spreaker Internet Radio, kindly sponsored by the Royal Oak Hotel at Colnesay Colliery, County Durham.
And back with you here at Langwell Crescent. So it's a drinks break at the moment. We've had 25 overs, Ashington batting first, and they're 86 for 2 after 25. Jessup not out 53 and O'Brien not out 3. The men out are Jack Jessup, Daniel Grant, sorry, Jessup's still there, I've just said his name on 53, but Daniel Grant's the man out. Court Crichton bowled Peter when the score was at 36, and Jack McCarthy LBW to Tom Cant in the 14th, and when the score was at 49. Sam Peter and Tom Cant with the wickets as they share an orange juice out there. I've just got my eye on them, and the two umpires have a drink as well. And it's really Jessup who's controlled the innings so far with his 53 in an hour and 20 minutes or so. And it's perhaps a good chance here to say that it's not often we have our figures, our listening figures here on Spreaker Internet Radio and Cricket West Tyne programme, but Spreaker, our network, did pass them out this week, and for the last 5 weeks or so we've averaged live listenership up at 34.66 average live listeners per week here. So as I put in a little tweet I sent out earlier in the week to all those who do join us and continue to, it's thanks for the company from me and Stace, although Stacey's not here today. She's laid up with, she's not very well, put it that way. Laid up with, got a cold and then now some sort of chest infection, but she'll be back next week, I'm sure. But thank you again to everybody who keeps us company here and listens through, but also to all of you who listen to the downloaded version on the Listen Again service as well. You can listen, all the programmes are on YouTube, our channel on YouTube, Cricket West Tyne, and on the Spreaker website, or the Cricket West Tyne section of the Spreaker website at Spreaker.com. So here we go. Tom Cant to take up the attack. Drinks have finished now. Just coming up to 3 o'clock here on this pleasant Saturday afternoon up at Ashington. So umpire Tomlinson there, just with his left arm held out, holding Cant up for a moment, because it's going to be Jessup on the strike, and we're going to have a short third man, a point, a deep cover, extra cover, a long off, a long on, a deep mid wicket, and a deep square leg. That one's just defended down into the offside there from Jessup, and there's no run. 86 for 2 still. And I mentioned a long on there. Fletcher's just come in off the boundary again. He's on the edge of the circle now, the 30-yard circle. But here's Cant again against Jessup, who's forward this time to a well-pitched ball. They're going to get one, just pushed to leg, and Cant's missed that one. Are they going back for 2? Nearly a double play there, but no, they're just settling for the single there. That takes the score to 87 for 2 Washington, and Jessup goes to 54. So here's Cant again now. Third ball, 26th over. Cant to O'Brien this time, and that's a well-pitched delivery, and it's pushed out there by O'Brien along the ground, and it's picked up by Paul Newton running in there from close mid-wicket. So Josh Renton up there at extra cover, he's close as well. close in at the far end to the batsman on strike, O'Brien, who drives a full ball this time to the leg side, and it had some whip in it. That rather took it round like a spearside cast with a fishing rod there. The bat, he whipped it round, a little twist in the air, and it took it out, but he doesn't get a run for a good shot there as Newton fielded it at mid-wicket. So change in the field here. Sam Peters dropped down too long off in front of us, and there's a ball down the leg side, and O'Brien just looked a little confused with that one. He saw it go and looked as if he shaped the play, but he didn't. He was quite a long way away from it as it went down there, but he's back in position now. There was no run. Now here goes Cant again into O'Brien. Well pitched that time, and O'Brien's forward just opens the face out to backward point there, and there's no run. Looked for it there, O'Brien, but there was none. Jessup didn't want it, and that's the end of the over. 87 for 2 now, Ashington. First innings of the match. Jessup 54 and O'Brien 3. The wickets fell so far at 36 and 49 in this Ashington innings. And we've seen our first youngsters running about in front of us out here, outside the clubhouse where we're sitting here. Nice big window, 3 big windows in this corner of the clubhouse where we're broadcasting through. And it's going, change of bowling up at the top end now. Renton's gone off, and on comes Paul Newton. Slow right arm orthodox spinner, and he comes bowling to Jessup now, and he's turned that up to fine leg. It's running up towards the boundary here right in front of us, but Peters round from his right to his right from backward square leg, picks up, throws in now, and there's a couple of runs for Jessup. He's gone to 56 and the score goes to 89 for 2. And we've got a long on in place and a deep cover, and 2 deep to the leg side across to the left. But here's Newton again now, and again that one's drifted the leg, and it's just caught the edge of the bat there and runs up towards us again, and Peter again round to his right, fields and throws in, and Crichton collects it there. So 1 to the total that time. 57 Jessup's gone to now. 90 for 2 wickets Ashington. O'Brien on strike against Newton. Back and pulls, sort of a pull drive there, just off the straight on the leg side, and it goes up to McCabe, who's up there in front of the spectators at long on. He fields and throws in. Another 1 to the total. O'Brien to 4, and now 91 for 2. Newton again, this time to Jessup, who plays this one from the crease quite well, and it runs just to the leg side of the bowler stumps at that end, at the top end, and up to McCabe again there, who runs in this time from long on to field and throws it in, and it's another single added to the total. 92 for 2. And here's O'Brien again, who just pushes that one down defensively from Newton. Well pitched again, more or less on middle and off stump that one, and it's Crichton who's out there quickly from behind the stumps to field that one. Crichton standing up close, and there's ice creams on the go as Newton bowls the next one, and that got some zip and bounce, and that kind of gave O'Brien a little shock there, but he missed it. A little play and a miss there, and it went through to Crichton, who couldn't take it cleanly, and that's the end of the 27th over, that one. 92 for 2 Ashington. Jessup 58 and O'Brien 4. Ever since I got those figures though from our network, Spreaker, 34.66 average live listeners, I have been worrying who was the 0.66 of a listener, or what was, as Cant takes up the attack again and Jessup just pushes a well-pitched ball back to him along the ground there. No run. It could have been, maybe it was a dog listening somewhere, or a fish or something like that, but here's Cant, who goes in again and bowls a swept drive, this time out towards the deep mid-wicket boundary, and it splits the fielders up there, and that was Darg and Mannion over to the leg side at deep mid-wicket and deep backward square. So 4 runs to Jessup. It was a mixture between a sweep and a drive, because he came down the pitch and shaped a drive and then just brought the bat round in a semicircular arc, and he hit the middle. 4 more runs, 96 now for 2 Ashington. Cant in again, and Cant picks up this one, which is just driven back to him gently, and a couple of bounces, and there's no run off that ball. Yes, it could have a snail maybe listening somewhere. Cant again now. Jessup back in his crease, and that's zipped on a bit from Cant, and Jessup's down on one knee now, thinking what might have been there. But he played it out to Newton there at mid-wicket, and there's no run. But whatever it was the .66 of a listener. Cant again now, and tries to play that one away fine up towards third man, and they're going to get 1 there. That's good running to McCabe at short third man. He had to go round to his left a bit there, and that's 1 more bye signalled there. So it looked like it came off the bat, but a bye signalled there from umpire Tomlinson. And 97 for 2, that takes the score. Jessup still on 63 after that one. Here's Cant again now. Up he goes and bowls to O'Brien, and who plays square to the leg side, where Dag gathers up off the ground at deep square leg and throws in, and that's the end of the over. It's 98 for 2 at the end of the 28th. Jessup 63 and O'Brien 5. But whatever it was, or whoever it was the note and the .66 of a listener. I'm pleased in a way that it was the top 2/3 that were there. Else you might not have been able to hear the commentary. But here's Paul Newton to take up the attack. Not yet though. Umpire Tomlinson isn't in situ at square leg there. Now Newton will be on facing bowling to O'Brien, who goes down the pitch there and just pushes it out to Josh Renton at extra cover, and there's no run. 98 for 2. So we'll go to the end of the over here on Spreaker Internet Radio. There's the next one now, and O'Brien just turns that one up to square leg, quite far back in his crease, and it's Stevenson who picks up, running around from short fine leg there to his left across in front of our sweep, quite close to us here, and picks up. So 1 run, 90. O'Brien's gone to 5 with that shot. Now there's a quicker one from Newton, and Jessup again turns it up towards square leg, and not as far this time, and it's Stevenson who picks up next to the umpire there, umpire Tomlinson, and throws it back around the field to Cant, who throws it to Newton. So 99 for 2 now. Jessup gone to 64. O'Brien from Newton, and that one zipped on, full ball, and it kept low, and that forced O'Brien back into his crease, and he jams the bat down on it, and it goes out to Cant, who picks it up off the ground there at close mid-wicket, and there's no run. Paul Newton back again now against O'Brien. Again, O'Brien's well back in his crease and turns it, and there's a quick run there, and Stevenson picks up, but he doesn't get it cleanly, and it allows them through safely enough for that single. And O'Brien goes to 7, and that's the 100 up for Ashington. 101 for 2 in the 29th over this one. And Paul Newton again now, his brother David not playing today, and that one's played just behind square on the offside this time, where Fletcher picks it up there at short third man, and there's no run. That's the end of the 29th. 101 for 2 Washington, with Jessup 64 and O'Brien 7 not out. And we're going to have Tom Cant's just directing his field. So I just looked at the time there, just coming up to 3:10. I think we should stay with the cricket for a bit longer this afternoon. Why not? It's such a lovely day here at Ashington this afternoon. And the second team at Tynedale today playing up at Priors Flat. They're against Anfield Plain seconds in Division 5 South. hoping to maintain there. Well, it's not an unbeaten record anymore. They've just lost the one match, and that was against Concert, seconds in the league, and they went out the cup on Thursday night gone. 27-run loss to Cowgate, down at Cowgate there, just off the Cowgate roundabout. It was a great pity, but they're doing well, the second team. They haven't had much success over the last 3 or 4 years, but they've got a good group of players playing there, youngsters as well, who are dedicated. But it's William Dagg now to take up the attack for his first over, and he bowls to O'Brien. It's a full toss, and it's just played out there along the ground, and Kant reaches down to his right at extra cover there, picks up and throws back to Dagg. No run. So for Dagg, there's no slips. We've got a fine leg, a third man, a deep backward point, a deep cover, a short extra cover there. Sam Peter there, deep mid off, or Fletcher at deep mid on, a mid wicket and a square leg. Dagg now safely enough. So Dagg, he didn't play. He played for the seconds last week. By all accounts, he took a few wickets, and he hasn't bowled since middle of May against Shotley Bridge, and he didn't take a wicket that day. Here he goes, right arm over the wicket, bowling to O'Brien, who's forward and drives out to the offside, to the left here, where Parker gathers off the ground 10 yards in front of the deep cover boundary, in front of the main road, and the practice nets across there. And there's a single. So 102 for 2 now, Ashington. O'Brien's gone to 8. And the score for Jessup on strike now. He's 64 not out, and this is the 30th over. Dagg runs in now and bowls full, and it's driven again, but it's not timed then. Tom Kant moves quickly across to his left from short extra cover and picks up. Nice bit of fielding there from Kant. Remember, he's bowling as well. He's taken a wicket this afternoon, but this partnership now between these two worth 54, and the majority have gone to Jessup. Dagg to Jessup, and he drives over the top of short extra cover. It's running up towards the boundary here, but it'll not get. Peter gathers, running round to his left from long off there, and he didn't time that just right, unless it got held up in a bit of the outfield down towards us. But the outfield, it's shown already today, if you can get the middle of the bat on it, the ball will go to the boundary.